Hey, Kiko here. In this video, I'll be talking about the riff that I wrote for the latest Megadeth album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. First of all, thank you so much for all the comments and suggestions, and keep bringing more ideas for me so I can continue doing more videos here on my channel. So, riffs for this album, the whole process kind of started in late 2018. The album was released in September 2022, right? So we have all the pandemic in between. But I remember clearly the day I started bringing ideas, because I told the management that I would be free to fly to Nashville, to go to Dave Mustaine's house, to start recording ideas, showing my ideas, right? So I went there, so I show up like late afternoon, and it seems like nobody knew I was coming. And I think Dave probably he knew, but maybe he forgot. But the family didn't know I was coming to their house, and it was Thanksgiving night, right? So, and then as a Brazilian, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving the same way the North Americans do. So for me, it was like, okay, another Friday, and then, let's start working. And I was excited to start working on the new album. So then I show up there, it's like, oh, well, the band guy's here, like Kiko's here. But the family was like so super cool. And then in the end, I was like having dinner with the Mustangs, That's why I remember really well that the first day of the whole project, right, of the album. And everybody was so cool. And I was there, because it is like a family intimacy somehow. And then there's the guitar player of the band there eating with the family. But anyways, I think then the weekend, then I stay like for 2 days just hanging. And then probably like on Monday, we start working on the ideas. And then basically the way it worked, it was me and Chris Rakestraw, the producer. So we sat in front of the computer. I had the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and I just started improvising ideas, creating as many riffs I could. Also, I brought some riffs, so I was re-recording the riffs that I had before. So I think this one from the song "Killing Time" was one of the riffs that I had before. I'm not really sure about this, but maybe I created there on those days. So I think I stayed for 3 or 4 days there, working 9 to 5 kind of job, right? Not 9 to 5, maybe 10 to 6, but like a full day of just playing guitar, playing riffs, and then in the beginning it's fun because you have, I have this idea, you have some ideas, I always collect ideas on my phone. I had some ideas that I brought, so I opened my computer, was listening to my ideas and, re-recording the ideas, and mainly riffs, right? Because the kind of music Megadeth does, but most of rock bands, the songs can be pretty much based on a riff. And this song, it is pretty much based on this, right? So those two ideas is already kind of giving a nice path to create a full song, right? So a lot of bands, if you think about Scorpions, Judas Priest, Van Halen, Foo Fighters, Megadeth, so many bands, they create their songs starting from the riff, right? So the idea was to collect as many riffs as possible. And then I remember coming back maybe a few months later to collect more riffs. So I don't remember how many riffs I brought, maybe 50 to 100. ideas. Not all of them are great. They're like good enough to be like excited about the idea at the moment, and then to record the idea. But of course, after start selecting the best ones or the ones that fit to the band, etc. And then of course Dave had way more, so like hundreds of ideas. He has like a vault of hundreds of riffs, and also Dirk brought some ideas as well. This was one of the riffs. So the idea for this riff, probably I was thinking like to get out of the thrash metal kind of sound, which is like, that half step, tritone, kind of inorganic. So what if I play like more like classic music stuff, not classical, more classic in the terms that dominant tonic, 1-4-5, normal cadences, like complete cadences, which is 4-5-1, subdominant, dominant tonic, or dominant tonic, or secondary dominant, dominant tonic. So it's basically following the circle fifths kind of idea and concept, which is more like pop music, classical music, music, and I think the thrash metal tried to, that's why it's thrash metal, because it deviates from that, or heavy metal from, in general, try to deviate from that. If you play too much of those cadences and dominant tonic, subdominant tonic, it's going to sound more like, it's going to sound a little bit more power metal, I would say, neoclassical, right? So in this case, I was trying to find other ways. Of course, you have this. So we have the F here, the F sharp, and the F, which is pretty thrash metal. But the melody of the chorus is a bit more lyrical, right? So you have this the deviation from the fifth, and then an inverted chord like a A minor. So it's like E minor with a inversion C major with a E on the bass, E minor. That's the way I see it, right? So this C with the E on the bass, and then you play a A minor. Then you play the secondary dominant, and then resolves, right? So I play this F sharp. So if you know the dominant, which is the fifth of the tonic, so the tonic is E minor, the fifth is B, right? So, and I use the diminished arpeggio. So this diminished arpeggio, you can always use to create that tension to resolve. And then you can also add secondary dominant, a dominant to the dominant, right? So, so F sharp, B, and E minor. So that's the way I was hearing, like more music kind of thing, to create a contrast with the other ideas. Not to create a contrast inside the song, but to be different from the other ideas. And Megadeth has those kind of melodic things as well. So I was not creating something that doesn't exist in the discography of Megadeth. So Megadeth has those melodic, beautiful passages as well, in contrast of the heavy and gnarly stuff. By the way, the album's in D standard, and I'm playing using standard tuning here. So this is one of the riffs from this album. I think I have 8 co-writing songs with Dave Mustaine on this album, so I can show you guys all the riffs as well. The previous video I was showing a riff from '95, like a long time ago, so now I'm bringing something more, something newer for you. So let me know what you want to see, what you want to learn, some stories behind the riffs or the compositions. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, your suggestions, and see you in the next video.